the South.
Asheville has recorded below average rainfall every month since last September.
While a dam upgrade is now more important than ever in Hawaii.
I'll bet you $1 that in the next 10 years we have another storm of this magnitude.
What would you do if you spotted an alligator?
You know, you don't get but one chance with a alligator like these.
And why is the official temperature measured at your local airport?
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans. Multiple days of severe storms could be coming to the nation's midsection. The first threat starts later today. That's central and eastern Kansas. The Storm Prediction Center issued a level 2 out of 5 threat for Wichita to Topeka and the surrounding area. A slightly lower risk extends from St. Louis, Missouri to Lubbock, Texas. Tomorrow, that threat moves east a bit, putting Kansas City at risk of some large hail and damaging wind gusts. Fortunately, the risk for tornadoes is very low, but by Saturday, that threat starts to increase and expands across multiple states during the late afternoon hours. Evacuation orders have been lifted in Southern California after a brush fire spread overnight. The Grand Fire is burning in Chino Hills. That's in San Bernardino County, and it's reportedly started from a car fire. Fire officials say weather conditions are cooperating. Now the fire is holding at 30 acres with 0% containment so far. Wildfire season out west will likely start in the next few weeks, and all the signals are showing it could be an above-average season. The region's snow drought and record March heat wave are both major factors in that. So meteorologist Stella Sun brings us the latest from fire officials.
There are several different factors that the Wildland Fire Management Division looks at to determine how bad the upcoming wildfire season could be. While all the indicators are pointing towards an above-average wildfire season, day-to-day weather conditions will have a huge influence too. The majestic mountains of western Washington do not have as thick of a white coat as it should right now.
Our seasonal snowpack was really poor this year, one of the worst that we've had in a while.
The Como forecast team has been tracking the concerningly low snowpack. Wildland fire management experts with the State Department of Natural Resources say this can point to an earlier start for wildfire season.
The lower snowpack, the earlier the season tends to get going.
DNR is preparing for wildfires to potentially start erupting in central and eastern Washington in the next few weeks.
I'm concerned that as we get into June, our fuels are already going to be receptive to fire starts that might be problematic for months into the future.
In July and August is when most of the state is in the red zone.
It's pointing towards an above normal active fire season. Where we end up on the whole scale of things is really, again, going to be dependent on what the short-term weather does through the main portion of the fire season.
DNR says they can't look into a crystal ball and say for certain Washington will get an above average wildfire season this summer. But what they can do is compare the conditions now to how things looked in past years. DNR says the conditions now are somewhat similar to that of the 2018 and 2015 wildfire season.
Again, that doesn't mean it's going to be as bad as 2015 is, which was, the worst season we've had in Washington history, but worse than normal, worse than average.
Again, the day-to-day weather conditions will have a huge influence on a wildfire and the wildfire season as a whole. Say, for example, a lot of rain falls or if the winds are calm. Those are factors that could help firefighters as they battle a blaze.
Western North Carolina is known for its gorgeous hills and mountains, but lately it, along with a large part of the southeast, is experiencing significant levels of drought. So meteorologist Julia Haley has more on that.
Asheville has recorded below average rainfall every month since last September. That prolonged dryness is why drought impacts are now showing up in streams, groundwater, and deep soil moisture across the mountains. The Climate Prediction Center expects drought to continue across much of the southeast through at least the end of July. Across the Carolinas, the outlook is mixed. Parts of the states may see improvement. Western North Carolina's drought, though, is forecast to persist. Data from NOAA's National Centers for Environmental Information shows just how much rain we still need to make up. To see noticeable improvement within 1 month, Western North Carolina would need about 10 inches of rain. To fully end the drought, it would take closer to 15 inches. If rainfall stays near average, the odds of that happening in a single month are 0. Looking over a full year, NOAA estimates it would take about 54 inches of rain to lessen the drought and more than 60 inches to fully eliminate it. The CPC does lean slightly wetter than average for the Carolinas later this month. However, it would take a longer lasting pattern shift to truly improve or erase this drought.
Or potentially a tropical system. So 20 years ago this week, Maine saw one of the most destructive flooding events in its history. And meteorologist Hannah Sheehy tells us about the Mother's Day flooding from 2006.
Prolonged rainfall left parts of New England submerged in under more than a foot of water this week 20 years ago. The historic flooding caused millions of dollars in damage, washing out roads, damaging homes and businesses, and leaving a lasting impact across the region. A massive low-pressure system tracked east from the Great Lakes installed just south of Maine, drawing in abundant moisture from the Atlantic. At the same time, high-pressure position to our east acted like a block in the atmosphere, causing the storm to linger over the region for several days. Rain fell across New England for nearly 8 consecutive days. Hundreds of residents were forced to evacuate their homes, while the governors of Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts declared states of emergency due to the severity of the flooding. Southern Maine was undoubtedly hit the hardest in the state, with some areas receiving more than 15 inches of rain over the 8-day event. Cape Nettic recorded more than 16 inches of rainfall throughout the storm, including nearly 8 inches on Mother's Day alone. Widespread damage was felt across parts of New England, with hundreds of roads closed and the collapse of Passaconaway Bridge. Today, the rebuilt bridge has been reinforced to withstand nearly 3 times the amount of water that flowed through during the Mother's Day flood 20 years ago.
It started as a Facebook group for West Virginia turkey hunters, but what was meant as a place to share success stories and pictures has now bloomed into something with eyes on the future and the past. West Virginia Turkey Hunters is getting kids outdoors and keeping hunting traditions alive. So in the state, meteorologist Brandon Stover has more on that.
What started out as a simple Facebook group has now grown into a nonprofit organization with thousands of members.
We started out with just a simple giveaway where we gave away a lifetime hunting and fishing license to youth in the state.
Now that effort has grown.
Last year we gave about $10,000 worth of prizes away to kids. This year, since it turned into a nonprofit, we raised over $32,000 in prizes to give away to kids.
More than 1,400 kids were entered on the prize wheel, with each winner announced live on the WV Turkey Hunters Facebook page.
When a kid wins a prize, we have parents calling us and saying, hey, my child's name just stopped on the prize wheel. They're running through the house screaming and yelling. You would think it was Christmas morning.
But the giveaway also carries the name of someone special.
About 3 years ago, I had a young man reach out to me by the name of Colton Shoemaker. He said, I love what you guys are doing, this big giveaway for the kids. I want to help.
Colton donated Cabela's gift cards for the youth giveaway. But later that spring, Bunnell got a phone call that changed the meaning of the event.
And I got a voice message on my phone from a lady, and she was crying. And unfortunately, she told me Colton was shot and killed the morning before that while turkey hunting in West Virginia.
Now the giveaway is named in his honor, the Colton Shoemaker Youth Day Giveaway.
A lot of people donate Cabela's and Bass Pro gift cards in honor of Colton, because Colton loved to take kids hunting too.
That mission, getting kids outdoors, is now at the center of everything WV Turkey Hunters does.
I've been fortunate to take 3 different kids on Youth Day and film their first turkey hunt. I'd give up all the rest of my turkey hunting if I could do that every year.
And for the group, this is only the beginning.
We want to leave a legacy for kids for hunting and fishing in West Virginia, because we've enjoyed it our whole life, and it's special.
And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll find out why alligator sightings are increasing in the Carolinas. And we'll show you why airports are often used for the official temperature records.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. More unsettled weather is in the forecast. Over the next 2 days, we'll have periods of rainfall both today and again tomorrow, particularly in New England. This is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There'll be many dry hours back into New York and northern New Jersey. Notice as we go into the day Friday, low pressure is slow to spin down. We're still dealing with some on and off wet weather, mostly in New England again. The payoff will be the weekend, though. High pressure will build in. Expect a lot of sunshine both Saturday and Sunday with highs in the 70s.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Watching as the front exits, that means that we will be in the cooler and drier air as we head through your Thursday. Winds will be a bit breezy out of the north and northwest, making it, again, a bit of a brisk day. But Friday, it's already going to warm back up again. It's 50s and 60s for highs for your Thursday afternoon. And Friday, 60s to 70s. We will continue this warm-up going into the weekend.
Hi, meteorologist Jennifer Collins with a look at your southeast forecast. Heading into Thursday, temperatures in the 70s and low 80s for the Carolinas with the mid-80s across the northern Gulf Coast. Very warm, even hot conditions for most of central and south Florida. Temperatures in the upper 80s, low 90s. High pressure, though, is building. The region is leaving our weather pattern very dry with a few pop-up showers in South Florida. Otherwise, mostly sunny start to Friday morning with dry conditions persisting through the end of the week.
Watching the National Weather Desk.
Take a look at this. Storms rolled through the Washington, D.C. region last night, and this is time-lapse video from the cameras around the metro area from Northern Virginia to Montgomery County, Maryland. These storms were not severe, although some people did lose power. Much-needed rainfall fell as the area continues to deal with severe drought conditions. Cooler weather arrived behind this front, leaving today's high temperature nearly 15 degrees below normal in the low 60s. Earlier this week in Hawaii, a dam upgrade project got underway. Those improvements are needed now more than ever following strong storms that caused severe flooding earlier this year. Jonathan Masaski has more.
The waters of the Wahiawa State Freshwater Park are peaceful today, but just a few weeks ago, this is what it looked like when strong storms caused severe flooding in the area, threatening the lives of thousands.
It's been a really rough month and a half for Wailua and the whole North Shore.
This last storm, they said was a once in 500 year storm. I'll bet you $1 that in the next 10 years we have another storm of this magnitude.
Thankfully, there were no fatalities here on Oahu as a result of the storms. While the waters did not breach the dam, it came dangerously close. And that's why on Monday, state officials and others gathered to break ground and bless the Wahiawa Dam Improvements Project.
With the Kona lows that came through, that significant impacts that we had on Haliuwa and Wailua, and the potentials for breaching during that time frame, it was very apparent to us that we got to move this project as quickly as possible.
It's important we get this project done, but not just for protection, it's also so that we can have water in the downstream communities for ag.
There's farmers from Mokuleia all the way to Waimea that actually depend on this irrigation system. So what you see here today is not just the lake, it's not just the dam here in Wahiawa, but the miles and miles of irrigation system that traverses the North Shore.
The House stands adjourned. Sine die.
At the legislative session that just ended, state lawmakers approved $58 million for improvements to the Wahiawa Dam. The funds will be used for a comprehensive rehabilitation effort to bring the dam into compliance with safety requirements and to continue to improve the irrigation water system for farmers. Earlier this year, the Dole Food Company announced it would gift the Wahiawa irrigation system, including the dam and reservoir, to the state of Hawaii at no cost.
So that this system, originally built for sugar, may continue to serve Hawaii's farmers
Hawaii's food security and Hawaii's people.
Part of the project includes increasing the capacity of how much water the dam can safely store.
I believe it increases our capacity 850 million gallons of capacity, which is a gigantic change. And it also creates a much broader outflow so that you can let waters run loose and safely when you're going through a peak storm.
The contract for the upgrades have been awarded to Goodfellow Brothers, who is already hard at work on the dam project.
It's the kind of neighbor most of you may not expect. In certain parts of South Carolina, it can happen this time of year. But it's still surprising, so Nick Bass has more.
He was a dinosaur. He was so huge.
A trip to the beach led to Alexis Oliver seeing something she hasn't seen before.
We have to kind of go down this little road, and there were some people in the road, and we noticed that the alligator was crossing the street into somebody's yard.
An alligator she named the George wasn't in his usual spot. He was going for a stroll.
It was my first time seeing who we call George up on his four legs. I've definitely seen George here just kind of sunbathing on the lawn and over up on the bank here as well.
Although that was Oliver's first time seeing George go for a walk, experts say this isn't unusual.
An alligator walking through a neighborhood, sitting outside of a house, especially where there's a pond nearby, is pretty normal.
Experts say although this is normal activity, you should still be cautious.
What you want to avoid is, startling the alligator, getting between the alligator and water, or feeding the alligator or having an alligator approach you for food.
You know, you don't get but one chance with a alligator like these. Even the smaller one, this guy right here could easily take a 100-pound dog.
With warmer weather moving in, health experts say tick activity is on the rise across the Northeast, Tennessee, and parts of Southwest Virginia. Natalie Hillen spoke with a doctor and local resident about what to watch for and why quick action after a bite can make a big difference.
With tick season picking up, health experts say it's important to know what to look for and how to protect yourself before heading outdoors.
Health leaders say the combination of warmer weather and more time outdoors creates the perfect conditions for ticks to thrive. Sullivan County Health Department Medical Director Dr. Stephen May says the region has seen an increase in tick-related illnesses in recent years, especially Lyme disease.
But we're seeing many more cases of Lyme disease now in Northeast Tennessee. Gotcha. Same with Southwest Virginia.
He says people should watch for symptoms like fever, fatigue, or a developing rash after a bite, and should also be aware of a newer tick-related condition known as alpha-gal syndrome.
And we get an allergic reaction to it, so a lot of people aren't able to eat meats.
Dr. May says the best defense against ticks is prevention.
Wearing appropriate clothing when out in the woods, treating your clothing with permethrin, or using DEET or DEET compounds to help repel ticks.
Kingsport neighbor Catherine Shack Adams tells me she was bit by a tick earlier this week after mountain biking at Warriors Path State Park.
We checked ourselves after, didn't see anything, and then around midnight that night I felt something on my back. Picked it off. It was a blackleg tick.
Dr. May says checking for ticks after spending time outdoors is important, and if you find one, removing it quickly and safely can help lower the risk of disease.
You've probably noticed that the official temperature records in many of our nation's cities comes from the airport. Bakersfield Chief Meteorologist Ilya Nyman explains why the National Weather Service has weather stations at all those different airports.
Well, have you wondered why temperatures are taken at the airports and not, say, in somebody's backyard as official readings? Well, here is a quick look as to why that's the case. Official temperature readings are taken at airports more often than not. Why? Several reasons. Number one, there's a very large area of open space, which means no buildings, no trees, no cars. All of these can artificially heat up the atmosphere, or they can actually prevent the weather from behaving in more of a homogeneous way where you would like to get a good sample of your surrounding environment. Number two, the ground has got a lot of level ability to it, which means there's a long stretch of level ground away from concrete as well. So there's no hills or mountains that could disrupt the airflow and can cause artificial temperature readings. So the main thing to consider here is that concrete acts as a huge heat sink. It artificially inflates the temperature significantly. It could be 90 degrees over the grass. It could be 105, 110 over the pavement next to it. So you don't want to have that interfere with your temperature readings. Number three, airports provide a very long historical record. Pilots rely on this very detailed observations for aviation safety, and airports provide that, and they go back many decades too. So for these reasons, and even more that are not listed here, airports continue to be the go-to for local temperature readings.
And as we head to break, here's some views over Iceland.
Well, a very good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. We do have a few stray showers across the Midwest for the day today. A lot of high temperatures in the 60s near the Great Lakes, and then we've got some 70s and 80s out across the plains for the day today. That rain kind of shifts its way a little bit more to the south as we go through the overnight hours tonight into your Friday. And then by Saturday, got some scattered thunderstorms across the lower Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley.
I'm meteorologist Siobhan Andrews. We're going to see another very steamy day for your Thursday. Definitely starting out with some mild temperatures in the morning. Mostly clear skies, though. We are going to see maybe a few clouds. Otherwise, a high of about 91 degrees in San Antonio. Could be a little warmer just south of our area, but other than that, it's going to stay nice and warm throughout the next couple of days.
I'm George Waldenberger. Here's your forecast for the western United States. Although hot, triple digits in Phoenix, that is the heat coming down a little bit. It's considerably cooler along the west coast. And a couple things we're watching, the wind and the fire danger as this storm system exits. That wildfire danger from northern Arizona all the way up into Colorado, and windy weather from Nevada up toward Montana. That's the scene from out here.
Watching the National Weather Desk.
Downpours in New England are getting stronger. Meteorologist Hannah Sheehy explains why.
Downpours across the Northeast are becoming significantly heavier. From 1958 to 2021, the region's heaviest rain events are producing about 60% more rainfall than they once did, the largest increase anywhere in the country. Scientists say a warming climate is largely to blame. As temperatures rise, the atmosphere is able to hold more moisture, allowing storms to produce heavier rainfall rates. New England is seeing some of the nation's biggest increases in these intense downpours, and in a region that's already naturally wet, that extra moisture often leads to stronger rain bursts instead of lighter, steady rainfall. Portland has warmed by roughly 3.5 degrees since 1970, while Maine overall has warmed about 3.4 degrees. That warming trend is helping fuel heavier rainfall across the region. And the impacts are already showing up in the data. Since 1970, heavy rain events in Portland have become about 16% more intense, increasing the risk for flooding and water damage during stronger storms.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm meteorologist Jordan Evans. Make it a great day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. All right. One minute 30, 1:2:45. It's for the 2 p.m. show. So Thursday, 2 p.m. weather. Minute 30. All right, this is the first weather for 2 p.m. in 3, 2. We'll start that one more time. All right, here we go. Take 2 for the first weather in 3, 2. Jacket weather has been the theme today thanks to those temperatures only in the 60s. Clouds, a northwest breeze, and later this evening dropping even more into the 50s. Throughout this evening by 11 o'clock still at 54 degrees. And by wake up time tomorrow, a lot of upper 40s to low 50s. So jackets to start your Friday. Sun will come up there at 5:55. We'll have partly cloudy skies to start, as well as some passing clouds throughout the afternoon. But finally back to short sleeves weather with a high temperature of 73. You can see those clouds going away for some overnight, but some will still hold on to cloud cover. There's your wake up temperatures once again, 48 to 51 degrees. By Friday afternoon, partly cloudy with highs anywhere from 70 to 73. Even as warm as 74 down to the southwest. Tracking the weekend, it is off to the races with these temperatures. Saturday, we're going to add more than 10 degrees. Back above average, high temperature of 85. Going into Sunday, how about 90? That would be for the third time this year, well above average and getting close to those record highs. As you can see the trend, we go beyond 90 into early next week. So a summertime heat wave is building Sunday into Monday, and also that humidity will start to increase as well. So that's going to start to introduce isolated thunderstorm chances once we get into next week. So we're going to play that out for you in your full forecast with the 7-day. We'll also take a look at some of the storms that moved in last night. Some really good time-lapse video. We'll talk about the rainfall totals and an update on the drought across the area. That is 2:45. 2:45.
Hi, John. You can type in the number 2. So it's written out to GWO.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Thank you.
So I don't want you to get,
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you. All right. This is the main weather for 2 p.m. today in 3, 2. Some much needed rainfall across the DMV last night, and the timing with those storms moving in could not have been any better. Just in time for the sunset. Look at the shelf cloud that came through. We had the rain curtain and some of that sunset behind the clouds, making for a very nice picture out there. As we saw those showers move in, some rumbles of thunder and even gusty winds around 35 to 40 miles per hour. Here's a similar view from Dulles International. Look at that picture-perfect sunset right there behind the rain curtain. As the shelf cloud moved in, we saw those gusty winds again through the northern Virginia, parts of D.C. into Montgomery County. We'll show you the final time lapse out of Germantown. This one is one of my favorites. As you can see, the sun begins to set. We get the shelf cloud and then eventually the whale's mouth effect. That is a common term from storm chasers. When that shelf cloud moves in with gusty winds, it shows a lot of turbulence. Typically, they're a few thousand feet up. So rainfall totals overall definitely need a lot more, but you can see still about a ½ inch to a little less in some spots at Andrews, about 4/10, and over ½ inch there for Stafford and parts of Fairfax County as well. Now, the latest drought today, nothing has changed. Did not improve, but also it did not get any worse at this time. Still maintaining that level 3 severe drought. And you look closely, the red here, that is level 4, starting to move farther to the north into central and northern Virginia. And as these temperatures start to climb next week, we might start to see some of that drought accelerate because the rain, that's not going to move in likely until second half of next week, going into Memorial Day weekend there. That would start on Friday into Saturday. Let's talk temperatures. As we showed you earlier, it's up to 85 on Saturday, 90 on Sunday. You see the storm icon. That is mainly for the isolated storm chance west of D.C. over the higher terrain. So the chance overall pretty low for the metro area. But then we dry things out and the heat is on. Monday, 94 degrees. We'll challenge records by early next week. Monday's record all the way back, 1877, with that record at 96. So we'll be close Monday, and then Tuesday we might actually tie that. And 96 for middle of May. That's not too common for us, of course, so that would be more like July with that record heat also back to 1997 for Tuesday of next week. So enjoy jacket weather if you don't want the heat just yet. We've got the 50 still for this evening. Wake up time tomorrow, jackets again, upper 40s outside of the Beltway. 50 around Leesburg, 51 in D.C. Annapolis, the warmer spot there, 52 to start your Friday. Again, for the weekend, we will see those temperatures climb. And Sunday, not a complete washout, but those temperatures again will start to climb quickly. 90 with that storm chance. We've also got Preakness happening in Laurel, Maryland this Saturday, so you can see those temperatures also in the low to mid 80s. All right, thank you.